Nature-based cuisine, it's a term I use to describe the way I like to cook, basically being inspired by nature. Really, from the beginning, people like Michel Bras are the pioneers of this movement, if you like. The use of herbs and flowers and rare and unusual vegetables, and having a really large palette to your cuisine. I think these days, with supermarkets and the commercial world, the choices that we have out there are getting smaller and smaller. I mean, there's probably only 3 or 4 varieties of apples that most people can buy in a supermarket, yet there are literally hundreds and hundreds of varieties. And I look at that and I look at nature and, what I like to be able to use. I don't want it to be limited. And there's so much beauty and gorgeous produce out there. If you're a chef, it's like being an artist. You want to have a palette that's large that you can work from. So what we've done at Key is we've gone to farmers. We've actually got them to grow things for us. So I sort of trawl through seed catalogues and get on the internet and find rare breeds of vegetables and different varieties that are basically sometimes 200 or 300 years old. They're heirloom varieties that just aren't being grown commercially, whether they don't have that long shelf life or whether they are a bit more fragile. And so a lot of the commercial farmers and stuff don't want to grow these varieties, and it's such a shame because some of them have most beautiful flavors and textures and colors, and really it's something that I've been very passionate about. The inspiration for the squid dish, it's about sort of the sea meets the garden, and a sort of really a mixture of textures and flavours, and it was sort of almost really like a bit of a celebration of nature and its diversity. We basically surround the dish with these beautiful, what I call red core radishes. They're an ancient Chinese variety of radish which we have grown by Richard and Nina in the Blue Mountains. And like I say, you can't buy them in the shops, and so this is something that we've had grown for us. And as you can see in the dish, they're absolutely radiant, and they have this beautiful red sort of core that sort of almost looks like a sunburst. And they have a beautiful sort of mild flavour once they're cooked. So that sort of frames the dish, if you like. And then really it's just a celebration of the garden and all these beautiful little flowers and baby radishes that are placed on top. We use things like society garlic, which I actually grow in my own garden. We use native violets, and I have a wonderful flower grower, June, who grows them for me. Little pea seedlings and Richard's little tiny baby radishes, which we grow down in our growing room. So it all sort of comes together in this beautiful celebration of nature and its diversity and this textures and flavours. And we finish the dish with a wonderful roasted squid consommé. So on the palate, it's a joy to eat. One of the most important parts of the dish is actually making a really good roasted squid stock, which we then turn into a consommé, and that's the basis for the flavour of the dish. The red core radish, we punch the red core radishes out with a little cylinder just to give it a uniform shape, and you sort of expose the beautiful red core of the radish. And they're just very quickly blanched in boiling salted water for a few seconds, and then they're brushed with clarified butter. We have a beautiful garlic custard, which is the core of the dish, which adds a luscious sort of creaminess and beautiful flavour. We steam the garlic custard for about 8 minutes on high steam till the point where it's just set. And the garlic custard is just made by infusing garlic into whole milk with some egg yolks. And really, it's a beautiful textural element to the dish. And then we have the squid and the octopus, which are sliced very thinly and poached in olive oil to the point where they're only really cooked for a few seconds, so they're incredibly tender. We also blanch little tiny radishes for a few seconds in water as well. That reduces their heat and gives them a beautiful colour, sort of almost a pink glow. The other part of the dish that's really important is the selection of flowers. They're not just there for colour, they actually add a flavour. We use rosemary flowers, we also use the society garlic flowers. We tend to use some really young pea blossoms as well as the native violets, and they all add a subtle perfume and a really beautiful flavour, especially the rosemary and the society garlic. And then, of course, the very final step of the dish is the pouring of the roasted squid consomme. And we pour that in just up to about halfway point. And then the idea is that when you're eating the dish, you get a beautiful spoonful of very soft, tender squid with some garlic custard, and then just wonderful, intense flavour of the roasted squid consomme. And then the different flavours coming from the flowers. So it's really one of my favourite dishes.